welcome to our deep dive into forgiveness.
Oh, a fascinating topic.
It is, yeah. You send over some fascinating sources.
I have.
From ancient texts to modern psychology. So we're going to be exploring its historical roots, psychological benefits, and even its real-world impact.
It really is intriguing how forgiveness,
Yeah.
despite being discussed for centuries, still holds relevance today.
It does.
I mean, we see it in the Bible,
Yep.
ancient philosophies, even modern scientific research.
I think that's a great place to start this deep dive.
Okay.
The historical perspective. The Bible seems like a natural starting point. It's chock full of stories about forgiveness, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So what comes to mind?
Well, the story of Joseph forgiving his brothers
Oh, yeah.
in Genesis chapters 37 through 50 is a powerful example. I mean, they betrayed him, sold him into slavery,
Right.
yet he chose to forgive.
That's credible.
I mean, that's just a profound example of breaking a cycle of resentment.
It makes you wonder what goes on internally. When someone makes that choice, it couldn't have been easy for Joseph.
And what's fascinating is that forgiveness, even in the face of such hardship,
Yeah.
is consistently linked to restoring harmony.
Okay.
So Joseph's forgiveness allowed for reconciliation
Yeah.
and ultimately led to his family's survival during a famine.
Wow.
This theme of restoring balance through forgiveness is echoed throughout the Bible.
That's right. The parable of the prodigal son in the New Testament comes to mind. It speaks to a father's unwavering love and the joy that comes with a son returning and being forgiven.
Exactly. It highlights forgiveness as a pathway to reconciliation, not just with others, but also within ourselves. The act of forgiving allows us to release negativity
Right.
and create space for healing and peace.
Okay, so we see forgiveness as a central theme in the Bible.
Yes.
But it's not unique to Christianity, is it?
Not at all.
Where else do we see it?
Ancient cultures around the world recognize the power of forgiveness. Confucianism, for instance, emphasizes forgiveness for maintaining social order and peace. It's seen as a cornerstone of a harmonious society.
So for centuries, forgiveness has been linked to inner peace and societal harmony.
Yes.
But where does modern science fit into all of this? Does science actually back up these ancient claims?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Modern psychology and neuroscience are starting to uncover the mechanisms behind how forgiveness works.
Okay.
Studies have shown that forgiveness can lead to lower levels of stress hormones,
Okay.
like cortisol, which is known to have detrimental effects on the body.
So choosing to forgive might actually impact our physical health. It's not just some abstract moral concept.
It seems that way. Forgiveness has also been linked to improved cardiovascular health, better sleep quality, and even a strengthened immune system.
Really?
Holding on to anger and resentment, on the other hand, can keep our bodies in a state of stress, which can manifest in various physical and emotional ailments.
That makes a lot of sense. If we're constantly dwelling on past hurts and injustices, it's bound to take a toll. So forgiveness isn't just about being nice. It's about taking care of ourselves on a fundamental level.
Precisely. And the research on this is still emerging, but the initial findings are quite compelling.
Yeah.
It seems that forgiveness may be one of the most powerful tools we have for promoting both mental and physical well-being.
This is fascinating. Forgiveness as a path to healing both individually and collectively.
Right.
We've talked about the historical and even scientific perspectives, but what about the personal benefits? How does forgiveness lead to internal transformation?
That's a great question, and it brings us to some very powerful examples. When we delve into the internal transformation, forgiveness brings the story of David forgiving Absalom in 2 Samuel chapters 14 through 18 stands out.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one.
Imagine the emotional turmoil of a father whose son not only betrays him,
Right.
but tries to usurp his throne, yet David chooses forgiveness.
It's a difficult story to grapple with. I mean, what could possibly drive someone to forgive under such circumstances?
That's the complexity of forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's not about condoning actions.
Right.
It's about releasing the grip those actions have on you.
Okay.
David's forgiveness didn't erase the betrayal,
Right.
but it allowed him to move forward without being consumed by bitterness.
Yeah.
This is where personal growth takes root.
So forgiveness isn't about forgetting or excusing.
No.
It's about choosing how those events will shape you moving forward. It's about taking control of your narrative.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that holding on to anger and resentment ultimately hurts you more than the person who wronged you.
Yeah.
It's a shift in perspective, a conscious choice to break free from the shackles of the past.
It sounds like forgiveness requires immense strength and self-awareness. It's
Yeah.
not for the faint of heart.
It's a powerful testament to human resilience. It's about choosing growth and healing over stagnation and resentment. And this internal transformation can ripple outward, impacting relationships and even inspiring others.
Yeah. You mentioned ripple effects. I'm curious, how does an individual act of forgiveness translate to something bigger?
Well, think of the story of Peter denying Jesus 3 times before the crucifixion.
Oh, yeah.
It's a moment of profound betrayal recounted in Matthew chapter 26, verses 69 through 75. Yet Jesus forgave Peter, and this act of forgiveness became the foundation for the Christian church.
So in essence, forgiveness can be a catalyst for rebuilding and reconciliation. It creates a space for something new to emerge from the ashes of what was broken.
Precisely. That's the beauty of forgiveness. It has the power to mend broken relationships, restore trust, and pave the way for healing and growth. It's not just a private act between 2 individuals.
Right.
It has the potential to transform communities and even inspire social change.
This reminds me of the parable of the Good Samaritan found in Luke chapter 10, verses 25 through 37.
Yes.
It's a story about going beyond the expected, showing compassion to someone outside your group, someone you might even consider an enemy. Isn't that what forgiveness is all about, choosing compassion over judgment?
Absolutely. The parable of the Good Samaritan highlights the transformative power of compassion and its connection to forgiveness. It's a call to recognize our shared humanity, to extend grace and understanding even when it's difficult.
That's a powerful message, especially in today's world, which often feels so divided. Choosing forgiveness and compassion seems more crucial now than ever.
You're right. In a world where anger and resentment often dominate the discourse, forgiveness offers an alternative a path towards healing, understanding, and connection.
We've covered a lot of ground here: the history, the science, the personal transformation, and the ripple effects of forgiveness. But I can't help but think there's more to this story.
There is. We've talked about forgiveness as a gift to others, but what's often overlooked is that forgiveness is a profound gift you give to yourself.
I think a lot of people struggle with that concept. We tend to view forgiveness as letting someone else off the hook, not something that benefits us directly.
It's a common misconception, but think about what happens when you hold on to anger and resentment. It consumes your thoughts. It impacts your relationships. It can even manifest in physical ailments. Forgiveness, on the other hand, allows you to release those negative emotions and free yourself from their grip.
So it's not about condoning the actions of the person who wronged you.
Right.
It's about choosing your own well-being over harboring negativity.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength and resilience. It's about taking back control of your emotional narrative and choosing to focus on healing and growth.
You mentioned the physical manifestations of holding on to anger. Is there any scientific evidence to support this idea that forgiveness can actually improve our health?
There's a growing body of research that suggests just that. Studies have shown that people who practice forgiveness tend to have lower blood pressure, improved cardiovascular health, and even stronger immune systems.
Wow.
They also report lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression.
That's pretty remarkable. It sounds like forgiveness isn't just a philosophical ideal, but a practical tool for improving our well-being on multiple levels.
Exactly. And it all comes back to that internal transformation we talked about earlier. Forgiveness allows us to shift our perspective, let go of negativity, and create space for positive emotions and experiences.
But what about those who struggle with forgiveness?
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about in theory, but putting it into practice can feel incredibly daunting, especially when dealing with deep-seated hurt and betrayal.
It's important to remember that forgiveness is a process, not a switch you can flip on and off.
Right.
It takes time, effort, and a willingness to confront your own pain.
Yeah.
It's also not a linear process. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when you feel like you're taking 2 steps back for every 1 step forward.
So patience and self-compassion are key.
Absolutely. And it's important to acknowledge that forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes, for your own safety and well-being, it's necessary to forgive someone from a distance.
That's a crucial point. Forgiveness is ultimately about finding peace within yourself, regardless of the other person's actions or whether reconciliation is possible.
Exactly. And the beauty of forgiveness is that even small acts can make a big difference.
Yeah.
It's not an all or nothing proposition. Every step you take towards letting go of anger and resentment is a step towards healing and freedom.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've explored forgiveness from its historical and spiritual roots to its modern scientific validation. And it's clear that forgiveness is more than just a nice idea. It's a powerful force for personal and collective transformation.
You've summed it up beautifully. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. It's a choice we make every day to release the past, embrace the present, and create a brighter future for ourselves and those around us.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I encourage you to consider how even small acts of forgiveness can impact your life and the lives of those around you. Remember, forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength, resilience, and capacity for love.